for the Knoxville National. They're lean, they're mean, they're 700 horses, a man and machine. They're 4 wide, green flag, showtime, the Knoxville Nationals are green.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another night of On the Pole Racing as we get ready here from Lima Land. Hopefully I have the thumbnail correct there on tonight's video. I want to say I do. We get set to rock and roll here from no, I don't. That it says Williams Grove on it. It should say Lima Land. Forgive me on that. That will get changed after the race. We got them rolling on here. Looking good. I don't know where I got the idea that tonight was Williams Grove. So we move on to qualifying here for the first bit. we see John Dubai coming out on track. Along with Ryland Banks, Scott Riom, Joseph Grundy. See if we can get our tower up here. It's not working tonight, or what the heck's going on? Give me a moment here. See if something doesn't seem to be wanting to cooperate tonight. Here, take this, do that. Come on, you. Why aren't you working the way you should be? Huh. Getting ready for heat number 1. I'm trying to get to where I can read the grid for us. It's not one to cooperate right at the moment. Why is this decay not wanting to work? Hey, see that the grid is on track. I just can't seem to get the drivers lined up here to tell me where everyone's at. So bear with me as SDK is giving me a slight issue here tonight. Okay, we got it on your end. I don't quite have it on mine, though. Kelly Wheeler starting off in front. Scott Riom second. Trevor Garou there third. Brandon Templeton there fourth. Dean Reynolds fifth. Jacob Moscow there in sixth. Harold Klump seventh. And Bob DeGood there will roll off in eighth. Seven laps the distance here. Now we get them set to rock and roll. Coming off the corner, there you see Kelly Wheeler out front. Brandon Templeton back there in fourth. All right, here we go. Now we got it working. Everything's coming alive now. Here, coming down in the corner number 1. Kelly Wheeler out front, getting a great jump there on the restart. Scott Riom there second. Trevor Garou there third. Here comes that 75 of Trevor Garou down there on the bottom side. Catches a little bit of a lift, but look out. Here comes Dean Reynolds there. 3 wide down there in the corner number 1. As they work back here off of, working down the backstretch. Now coming out of 4. Yeah, they're 3 wide there. As you see the 79 of Dean Reynolds getting himself up there into 4th. Trevor Garou down there on the bottom side, not really wanting to give up much. That 4 there in the middle, trying to gain that spot. That's Scott Riom with 5 laps to go now as they work around the racetrack down through 2. Down there onto the backstretch. As there's 3 wide, 2 wide in places, depending on where you're looking. As you see that 75 of Trevor Garou trying to get to the bottom side there. Now up there toward the top. And we got the 47 of Jacob Moscow back here. He's trying to bring that car up through the field. Could not quite do it here. And we got 8 here in heat number 1. Down through the back front stretch there, down in the corner number 1. Down to round 2, off up 2, down that back straightaway. Kelly Wheeler out there in front. There you see Brandon Templeton there in second. Scott Riome in fourth. Our third, Dean Reynolds in fourth. Now we got a 3 wide back there trying to figure out that 5th spot. You got that 2 of Harold Plump there battling with the 47 of Jacob Marcel. Up front on the top side is Trevor DeRue. As they all battle it on down through here, through turn 1 and 2, back out there onto the backstretch. Hanging it on down through, trying to get every little bit they can as they come off the corner. Unofficial results coming in. Great race there for heat number 1. Heat number 2. As William Watson, Joseph Grundy, Ryland Banks starting 3rd, Chad Lackey in 4th, Randall Dixon 5th, Michael Vitale in 6th, John Dubai 7th, Joe Massal there in 8th. Your results from heat number 1 are Kelly Wheeler, Brandon Templeton, Scott Riome, Dean Reynolds, Trevor DeRue, Harold Klump, Jacob Massal, and Bob DeGood. That is how they're going to round out there for your finishing results in heat number 1. There again is your grid for heat number 2. We get them started and underway out there. As William Watson's running out there in front. As your control car, your pole sitter. Michael Vitale rolling off there in 4th, Randall Dixon 5th. Eight drivers come here off of the corner. One more lap around. We got 7 here in heat number 2. Joseph Grundy did not take the grid. Green is out. Topside getting a pretty decent jump there. Now they work down there through the bottom. Coming off the corner. Oh no, 4 wide, and we got 1, 2, 1 going around. That is the 213 of Michael Vitale down into the infield. That's going to take him out of contention here in the heat. And they ended up 4 wide there through corner number 1. Down through the backstretch into corner number 3 and 4. Coming here round again. William Watson out there in front. Chad Lackey down there on the inside. They roll off. Joe Marcel. What a great jump he had. And he's got himself up there in the 3rd. Ryland Banks back there in 4th. John Dubai in 5th. Randall Dixon 6th. Now you see Michael Vitale down there on the pit road. After having some issues there on the start. And roll off here. As we said, there's 8 in this group. So we got 1 more heat after this. Or possibly 2 more heats. 23 cars that took the start here tonight. As John Dubai is there in 6th. William Watson out front. There you see the 91 of Chad Lackey. As they roll down into corner number 1 and 2 once again. Coming off here on that back stretch. Or I'm sorry, no, down the front stretch into corner number 1 and 2 again. Got myself flipped around there for a moment. His drivers all are single file now as they roll down here. Down through, off the corner. Check the final lap here for Chad Lackey to try to get up there to William Watson, but I just don't think it's going to be enough. And he rolls through the corner, and you can see the slick starting to build up there on the corners as they enter these corners here on the straightaways and stuff. Now, our winner there, William Watson. Heat number 2 in the books. Possibly 2 more heats to go. Or no, I guess this would be the last one. Right? 8 times 3, 24? Yeah. All right, here we go. Heat number 2 results. William Watson there in front. Chad Lackey 2nd. Joe Marcel there in 3rd. Randall Dixon fifth. John Dubai there fifth. Ryland Banks in sixth. Michael Batali there seventh as they roll on out here. Starting there in on the grid here. Mike Wida out there in front taking the pole here tonight. Brian Dickens there second. Billy Roberts in third. Sam Bachman fourth. Jeff Barker back there in fifth. Eddie Mossau there in sixth. Brian Moore in seventh. Barry Wallace back there in eighth. That is going to be your field here tonight for the 358. They get started here. Green flag in the air. We're down and away and wide. My camera guy's not on the leaders. There we go. Side by side, and we got Brian Dickens out there in 122 trying to find a way to get up there. The 22 of Billy Roberts down there on the bottom side. Whoa! As he takes a shot there off the infield tire up across the racetrack. Ends up there on the top side above the 66 of Mike Wida. Brian Dickens now out front at 122. Sam Bachman there in second. And we got Billy Roberts now fighting his way back up there through the field, up there on the top side. That track getting slick tonight as they work here off the corner here on lap number 5. Down here in the corner number 1 and 2, back out onto the back stretch, front stretch. And work down there off of 2. Roberts now back underneath of Bachman. Bachman up there on the high side. You got Roberts down there on the inside. 007 versus the 22. Who's it going to be as they roll here off the corner, trying to keep it off of one another? 3 laps to go as they roll down here through corner number 3 and 4. Back out onto the front stretch. 2 laps to go. They all kind of were single file there. You see the 44 of Eddie Mossau up there along the top side as he's got Brian Moore down there to his inside. Jeff Barker not far in front of him. Billy Roberts sitting in third right now. Final lap here in the air as they come down into corner number 1. Around onto the backstretch. Sam Bachman out there second. Brian Dickens there in front. As they come here off the corner. It's going to be Brian Dickens getting the win here in the 358 heat number 3. As the unofficial results will come in. Thank you all for tuning in to Coast to Coast Racing Network. For all your racing action, you can definitely check us out every, quite a few nights of the week as we put on racing in quite a few different dirt divisions. I'm going to say quite a few different divisions, and I thought I saw something about asphalt stuff too at some point. So, warm-ups taking place. We'll be back after these messages.
These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized, no, We didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive, so having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. Found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately, they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday, I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
I don't know if we went over heat number 3 or not, but here it is. Brian Dickens gets first, Sam Bachman second, Billy Roberts there third, Mike Weeda fourth, Jeff Barker fifth, Eddie Massal there sixth, Brian Moore there seventh, Barry Wallace in eighth. Now they roll here off the corner to get ready for the start of the feature event, brought to you by RSN Trackside. We have Kelly Wheeler starting on pole, William Watson second, Brian Dickens third, Randall Templeton fourth, Chad Lackey fifth with Sam Bachman sixth, Scott Rioman seventh, Joe Massal in eighth, Billy Roberts ninth, Dean Reynolds in 10th, Randall Dixon 11th, Mike Weeda there 12th, start and 13th, that's going to be Trevor Garou, John Dubai in 14th, Jeff Barker 15th, Harold Club 16th, Ryland Banks there 17th, Eddie Massal there 18th, Jacob Massal in 19th, Michael Vitale 20th, 21st is going to go to Brian Moore. Bob DeGood will roll off in 22nd. Joseph Grundy there 23rd. And Barry Wallace will roll off in 24th. $30 laps the distance here for your main event. As they roll down here off the corner, number 4, all set and ready to go. And the corner number 1 to go. Everybody looking good, getting a great jump there as they roll through the corner. All make it through, down there through, onto the back stretch into corner number 3 and 4. 3 wide, 4 wide now as they come off of the corner. Down there across, there you see him now. There as the 007 gets a little bit of contact, trying to hang it on, and we got problems in the back. As they stack up, coming there off of turn number 4. The 2 gets rolling. There you see others having issues back here. Staying green as they roll off onto the back stretch down here through onto the front stretch again. Kelly Wheeler out front at 23 of Watson trying to make a run there at the lead. As that 007 and the 122 are going at it there. Looks like at 23 is ripping that, pushing quite well here tonight. Harold Club back here toward the back. Here you see Jacob Massal. Michael Vitale having issues as he jumped to the pits. Down there off the corner, 26 laps to go. 3 wide there, they come down into corner number 1. The 007 down there on the inside. Chad Lackey in that 91 up there on the high side. Trying to find every little bit that they can out here. Trevor Garou back here in about 12th position. He's down there on the bottom side. He's fighting with Billy Roberts right now as a hot line across the bottom of the racetrack. Kelly Wheeler still trying to put the power down, trying to hang on to that position as it looks like Watson did get around him, driving that top side, but Sam Bachman down there on the inside trying to make something happen. But that 91, or sorry, no, the 31 rather, Brandon Templeton, he's coming up there through. Everybody's coming there off of turn number 4. Back down here in the corner number 1. 22 laps to go. They work down the backstretch. William Watson out front. Kelly Wheeler second. We got Brandon Templeton and Sam Bachman battling it out for third. Look out though, that 31 of Templeton, he's trying to get something going on that high side. Up there, he might get a nose above Wheeler here soon as they work here off the corner. As they work through 3 and 4 back onto that front stretch. Templeton is there, gives Kelly Wheeler a little bit of a nudge, saying, hello, I'm here, I'm to your outside now. Coming off the corner, cannot quite get there. He's going to keep slinging it around on that outside as he gets there to the corner. Coming off, Wheeler doing all he can to try to hang it in there. Brandon Templeton getting ahead there. Bachman, though, hanging tough down there on the bottom side. So it's going to be tough to figure out who is going to take who as they roll down here through off the corner. 18 laps to go. These three battle it out for third place. This is third through fifth. These drivers really do all they can to hang it off. There you see Watson. I'm sorry, no, that's second through fourth. Second through fourth, I'm sorry. I've got fifth place driver Brian Dickens looking on here between these three as they battle it out. Way up there to the top side is that 31 of Templeton. And him and Bachman get around Wheeler. Wheeler drops back into fourth. As they hang out here, Watson out front, Templeton there second. Or sorry, Templeton third. Now he battles up there on the high side. Bachman running really well, keeping it together down there on the bottom side, but he's running through a little bit of the slick stuff down there. So I don't know if he's necessarily getting the grip that he's necessarily want, but he's definitely getting a run off the corner okay. As you see, now he brings it up there toward the top. That's going to allow that 31 to get underneath him, possibly pull a slider to get up there. As Bachman ends up into the outside wall. Wheeler is there, 13 laps to go. Here in the main event, Wallace having issues as he's crashed on the pit road. 12 laps to go. Now here's a work off of 4. Back down that front straightaway into corner number 1 and 2. We're looking there at Trevor Garou and Billy Roberts that work through corner number 3 and 4. Brian Dickinson company coming there off of turn 2. Kelly Wheeler down there on the inside. Here comes that 11 of Kelly Wheeler. Trying to get himself back up there. He's falling back behind Dickens now. Sam Bachman hanging on the third. Templeton really showing out what that cushion can do here tonight. Up there along the top side of Lima Land. I said, I'm sorry, the thumbnail didn't quite read right. I thought we were at Williams Grove, but no, we're at Lima Land here tonight as they roll through there. Up across the top side is the 31. Getting up into that outside wall. That's going to allow Bachman to get back into the fight down there on the bottom side. Brian Dickens, oh no! They get together down there, the 91 and the 122. Chad Lackey down there on the bottom side. As you see Dean Reynolds there in the 79. He's in the mix along with Wheeler. Wheeler's dropped back into 6th now. As Watson still your race leader. Brandon Templeton there in 2nd. Sam Bachman there in 3rd. He still tries to get that bottom line to work. And it's not doing too terrible as he's sticking right there with Brandon Templeton. And it's going to be who can pull it off here. Who can get the momentum coming off the corner. We're coming off of 4 right now. Templeton still holds it up there on the high side. Watson working through lap traffic as he's got the 66 of Mike Guida down there on the bottom side. There you see Brandon Templeton working up there on the top. Sam Bachman down there on the bottom side. Got him side by side back here for 5th and 6th as got Dickens there going sideways. Got Reynolds there trying to chase him down. Right there in front of him is Chad Lackey in the number 91 working there off the corner. Everybody doing what they can, front to back. William Watson, Brandon Templeton there in 2nd. Sam Bachman down there on the bottom. Final lap here in the 358. coming there off the corner. You see the 44 there of Eddie Marcel. He's going to be a lap down here. Well, maybe not. He might stay out ahead of the leader just enough, but you got William Watson out there in first. Templeton there in second. Bachman there third for your top three. We'll wait for the official results to come in. So your results for the feature here. William Watson front. Brandon Templeton there second. Sam Bachman there in third. Chad Lackey 14. Reynolds Smith. Brian Dickens 6th. Kelly Wheeler in 7th. Randall Dixon there 8th. Bailey Roberts there 9th. Trevor Garou there 10th. Joe Marcel in 11th. Scott Rione there in 12th. Ryland Banks there in 13th. Jacob Marcel 14th. Jeff Barker 15th. Brian Moore there 16th. John Dubai in 17th. 18th going to go to the likes. Oh, I hit the wrong button. 18th going to the likes of Bob DeGood. Harold Klump there in 19th. Eddie Marcel Jr. there in 20th. Mike Guida there 21st. Barry Wallace there 22nd. Michael Vitale back in 23rd. And Joseph Grandi rolls off and is going to finish there in 24th. All right, get with Sam Bachman. Good evening, Sam. How's it going?
Going pretty good. Car felt pretty nice, so I can't complain.
Well, I mean, you did really well down there on the bottom side. Did you think you might have had something down there to battle Templeton, or did Templeton just have that little bit of an edge up there on the high side?
I felt like at first, at the beginning of the race, I probably had something a little more for him, but towards the end, I felt like we were just kind of equaled out. I'd get a run on him in 1 and 2, and then he'd just get a run on the top side in 3 and 4. But it felt like a pretty good race.
You did a great job keeping it going straight. I mean, you were down there in the slick stuff for most of the race, trying to just find that grip.
Yeah, there was a little bit of attack on the bottom, and especially if you can hit the left front on the tires down there, it kind of like gives you a little bit of a boost, and a couple laps into that really helped me out of passing a couple people.
Well, you did a great job. Hopefully you can keep this momentum going in the big blocks if you're showing up for that.
Yes, sir, I'll be there.
All righty. Well, you got sponsors, shout-outs, anybody you want to thank for getting in the third place tonight?
Yeah, all the boys over at FTM, Gunner at Swan Speed Shop. He's really been working hard on the dig. Dean over at Super Dirt Car Series, Expert Installation, Vertex Graphics, Flieger, you for doing the broadcast, Coast to Coast, and yeah, that's it.
All righty. Well, congrats, and we'll see you in the big blocks here in just a few moments.
Alrighty.
That was Sam Bachman, our third place finisher. Now we'll get with second place, Brandon Templeton. Good evening, Templeton. How's it going?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
It's going. How's that top side cushion feel tonight?
I was getting real thin. You know, you couldn't get on the throttle very much in 1 and 2. 3 and 4, there was just a little more grip up there. You could kind of rip it a little bit. But, you know, Bachman was coming there on the bottom like a madman. I probably would have chose the bottom or a slider line if I was on a wide open track, but you know, you kind of have to go where the flow of the race takes you in traffic, and the top line's kind of where I got committed, and it worked out for seconds, so we'll take it. But hats off to Watson, man, have absolutely nothing for him. He was kind of in another league there.
Yeah, I mean, you gave it what you could, and you definitely looked really good out there. And you got sponsors, shout-outs, anybody you want to thank for getting second place tonight?
Yeah, I got to thank Jay Burdick with the Dirt Track Bank there in Malvern and Malvern Bank. Check out dirttrack.bank for all your banking needs. You know, every loan, every deposit that he's got helps support, you know, capital for real race car hauler loans and stuff all across the country for big teams, small teams, doesn't matter. Thanks to him, thanks to Extreme Images, Maley's Makery, Fligger Farms, Broadcast, Extreme Coast to Coast Racing, and Big C's Lawn Care.
Alrighty. I'll get our winner, William Watson. Good evening, William. How's it going?
Good about you?
It's going. You had that car set up well tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it felt great. Played with a little bit of my force feedback settings, and car felt like it was on rails, so I think I'm going to keep those settings.
Well, I mean, that car looked great. You were able to keep it out front. Take us through. How slick did that track get on you tonight?
1 and 2 up top got pretty slick. That's why I went down towards like a mild slider. Caught that tack coming out. After I started doing that, there was no problem. I just let out going in, roll back on it coming out, and 3 and 4 I was full throttle up on the wall.
Alrighty, well, congrats there. And you look good. You coming out for the big blocks?
Yeah, I'm coming out.
Was there anything you can learn from the track here to get you ready for the big blocks?
If it goes just like that, I mean, there's a little bit that I can learn from it based off how the track plays out, but I think it'll be way different with the big blocks.
Well, they definitely got a little bit more power. They're going to be able to spin those tires a little quicker.
Yeah, just gotta roll into it a little easier. All that is.
Well, congrats there, getting a victory here in the 358. You got sponsor shout-outs. Anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, teammates at FGM, Swan Speed Shop, Stupid Performance, GripX.com, Dina Dirt Car Series, Tyler Bowman and Vortex Graphics for the rap and sponsoring the team, you for broadcasting, Gus for putting it on, and give us less rest.
All right, congrats there for that, and we'll catch you in the big blocks here coming up.
All right, sounds good.
So that was William Watson, our winner here in the 358. Stay tuned as we take a short break and get ready for the big blocks. Don't go anywhere.
It's time for another edition of RSN Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Gets on the champion, trying to be a bit of a hiatus. So let's get. Tonight we'll be talking about it.
these dollars have come together to support us, and we realized no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive, so having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. Found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday, I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
Good evening once again, as we're here from Limaland now for our second group of racing tonight, the Big Block Modifieds. Now you see them out there getting everything situated, ready to rock and roll. Down here through just wait for them to get started here. All right, where are we going here? They keep doing some warm-ups here, getting themselves acclimated to the track with the higher horsepower of the big blocks. So who's all ready for some big block action here tonight from Limaland? Later on tonight, we'll have the Pro Late Model. Definitely want to give a shout out to Full Throttle Motorsports for sponsoring the Thursday Night Thunder and the 358 mods and big blocks. Now you see some of these drivers really trying to test the waters up there against that high side to see what that grip is going to be like. You got the 21 there. John Dubai. Got the 71 there of Dean Reynolds. 79, not 71, I don't know. I said that right. Brandon Templeton out there in as their quickest right now. He tried to get that 31 around the track. He got second in the 358. Chase Matsko making an appearance out here in the 26 machine. For the 358, or I'm sorry, for the big blocks. William Watson there in the 23. Winner from last race. Kind of hanging tough back here in about the 6th fastest right now in practice. Everybody works down through there. Randy Shreves back here in the number 19. Or, I'm sorry, sitting 19 on the board with the number 56. Case, I don't know if you want to keep following him. As they roll here off, getting everything acclimated. Ryland Banks back there in the 14th spot. Running at number 76. Mike Brewer back out here in the 39. Qualifying underway finally. And see Chase Matsko rolling out here. Trying to see where he gets up there. There you see Randall Dixon. Up there along that outside cushion. Gonna try to lay down a heater. Brandon Templeton lays down a heater right away with a 12.587. Here comes Mike Brewer here in that 39. He lays down a decent one. As they roll around there on the top side, there you see Mike Brewer as your fastest so far. Everybody comes through. Sam Bachman there. Up there in the 7th now as qualifying comes to an end. Waiting on the first grid to come up. I guess there's 33 seconds left in qualifying. So here comes that grid. Sam Buckman out there in front. William Watson second. Trevor Garou there in third. Mike Brewer fourth. Scott Riom there fifth. John Dubai sixth. Michael Vitale there seventh. Jeff Barker in eighth. Brian Moore in ninth. Randall Dixon there in 10th. That is going to be your starting grid for heat number 1. As you see them getting the rolling off. Down through corner number 1, heading on to that backstretch. Hope everybody's enjoying the night of racing here at Coast to Coast Racing Network. Bringing it to you here with the help from Fleeger Farm TV. And they get set to roll. Here we go. Down through the front stretch. Pace car is off. Getting ready to hit that loud pedal. They're down and away. Down into corner number 1 goes Watson up there on the high side. We saw what he could do in the 358. What can he do here in the big block? As they roll down here in the corner number 3 and 4. Back around onto the front stretch. Sam Bachman down there on the inside. Mike Brewer up there on the top side. Brewer did a great job setting the quick time. He's going to try to get back up there. He had to start 4th due to that as they invert the top 4 of the heats here at Coast to Coast. So he's got some work to do to try to get himself back up there. And he's running really smooth along that top side. As out front there, you see Watson hanging on to it right now. Bachman there in second. Brewer, as we said, third. Trevor Garou down there on the bottom side. He felt comfortable down there, along with that 007 Bachman. Bachman getting third the last race. As they were down there on the bottom side, right there, gets them tires. You don't want to hit them tires, though. You want to try, if you want to get that bottom of work, you want to be right there against them, but you don't want to hit them. They can pop that front end up and get you all kind of off kilter. And it looks like one of them may have caught one of them. I'm not sure. I don't know if Garou caught a tire or not. As he's now up there towards the top side, going to try to get that top side to work. Brewer now works his way up there in the so-called second. Now in the third as Bachman still is content running that bottom side, but Brewer working the middle of the racetrack now. Going to try to put him 3 wide here. Why is that there? And that should be laps here. White flag is in the air. Down here through the back stretch. Down in the corner number 3 and 4. They're 3 wide here coming off. It's going to be Watson, Brewer, then Bachman getting the top 3 there as it comes to the line. Heat 1 results. William Watson gets the win. Mike Brewer in second. Sam Bachman third. Trevor Garou there fourth. Scott Riom fifth. John Dubai sixth. Michael Vitale there seventh. Jeff Barker eighth. Randall Dixon ninth. And Brian Moore there in 10th. Starting now here for heat number 2. It's going to be Chad Lackey rolling off there in front. Billy Roberts there second. Dean Reynolds third. Brandon Templeton there fourth. Ryland Banks there fifth. Bob DeGood there sixth. Harold Klump in 7th, Chase Matsko in 8th, Randy Shreves back there in 9th. And I got word here, Chase Matsko might have himself a small issue here tonight. He's back here in a 358 trying to run with these big blocks. So we'll see if later in the race if that comes out to hurt him or make it better. We'll see. as that race car, as they try to get that race car running here tonight. And here they go. They roll off. Billy Roberts out there in front. Brandon Templeton there in third. Or I'm sorry, Templeton's there in fourth. Dean Reynolds there third. One more time there at your starting grid. Now here for the FTM big block modifieds. Here this Thursday night, we're doing Thursday Night Thunder. Get set to rock and roll down through the start finish line in the corner number 1. As you see him there, Dean Reynolds getting in trouble as he's in the center of the racetrack now. The 2 back here of Harold Klump, he's got to try to hang on to it there as he rolls down across the bottom side. Chase Matsko rolling there as well, just trying to stay with them all. As we said, he's a little bit underpowered here. His best bet would probably be trying to get rolling on the bottom. They bring that car up through. Billy Roberts out there in front now. Templeton trying to work there in second, working underneath of Chad Lackey. I'm sorry, Chad Lackey's working underneath of Templeton. Can't quite get there. They roll off the corner. Dean Reynolds there in fourth. Ryland Banks there in fifth. Now they roll down here in the corner number 1 and 2, back out onto the front stretch. 3 wide back here, Chase down on the bottom side. As they roll here off the corner, trying to keep everything going, and they're getting tight coming off. As they are down there against that bottom side, Matsko doing all he can to try to get that 358 some power down there on that inside lane. As those big blocks are running up there on the high side, just pulling away. As you see Templeton really getting it up there into the cushion now, really letting that thing eat away. He's getting there beside the 66 of Roberts. Down here, 2 to go. Coming around here, off of 4, soon to be 1 to go. He's got to try to really hang it out there, and he does so. He'll get the lead coming there off of 4, but he still has Roberts down there who is inside. Here into 3 and 4 now, final time. Templeton really going to try to hang it out, and he will get the win up there on the high side of the racetrack. The 66 there. Roberts hanging in there for second. Dean Reynolds comes out there for third. Your results here for heat number 2. Brandon Templeton gets first. Dean Reynolds there second. Chad Lackey third. Ryland Banks there fourth. Bob DeGood there fifth. Chase Matsko sixth. Harold Klump there in seventh. Randy Shreves there eighth. Billy Roberts in ninth. All right, we'll be back here in just a few moments.
These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized, no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt, we can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive, so having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. Found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in the race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life and it's the lives of racers everywhere is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
We're back here from the Speedway. We're here with the RSN trackside grid for your Thursday Night Thunder big blocks. William Watson will roll off there in first, Brandon Templeton second, Mike Brewer third, Dean Reynolds fourth, Sam Bachman fifth, Chad Lackey sixth, Trevor Nareau there seventh, Ryland Banks there in eighth, Scott Rio ninth, Bob DeGood there in 10th, John Dubai 11th, Chase Matsko there in 12th, and 13th, that's going to be Michael Vitale with 14th going to Harold Klump. Jeff Parker 15th, Randy Shreve 16th, Randall Dixon 17th, Billy Robertson 18th, and Brian Moore rolls off in 19th tonight. The 8 driver getting it all acclimated and getting ready for the start. He hit the loud pedal down here in the corner number 1. As they work through there, everybody's trying to make some room. Hang on to it. Matsko in all sorts of trouble back here. He tried to get that 358 up through the field of big blocks as they roll down here through the backstretch. Down here through turns 1 and 2 once again. On that backstretch, everybody side by side. Watson up there on top. Here comes, oh, we got trouble. Billy Roberts. Chase Matsko around. Caution flag is out this time. I think Chase Matsko, it just ended up being a portion of it. And see, here comes Roberts down there in the 66. Everybody up there on the top side, they're 3 wide there, trying to see what exactly happens. They all come together there. Vitale, they're in the middle, trying to see what actually happens here. As they roll down here into the next corner. And the 7 up there along the outside collects all kind of trouble there. They get rolling. You'll see Matsko down on the inside somewhere. There he is, getting everything back under way. Here at lap number 3. Everybody getting back out there, single file at the moment. Doubling up here as they come back out onto the front straightaway. There you go, down here through turn 1 and 2. They get on that loud pedal, trying to make it through, do they? So far, so good. And see him down there on the inside, making it work hard as it comes down there towards the stripe. Watson out front there, but he's got Brewer down there to his inside, trying to make that inside work. 3 wide, 4 wide back here as they head down through. Chase Matsko ends up back around with Billy Roberts. And Matsko's down there on the bottom side. Nobody around him. Billy Roberts ends up turning around, and yeah, that's not having the luck tonight that he needs. Just trying to survive. That one was Billy Roberts getting involved there. As you seen it. That 66 down there on that inside, come along off the corner. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how he got turned out. There you see it is. The 7 comes down into Wheeler, I believe. Or no, I'm sorry, down into Dixon. Now we're back here, getting ready for the green flag. Off the corner, 25 laps to go. Brewer out front. Watson up there on the outside. Here we go. Bob DeGood down there, working as we can. They're in the middle of the pack. As they work on off. The 07 of Bachman there in 4th. Templeton there in 3rd. Watson's doing all he can up there on the top side. Learned something there a little in the previous race to run that cushion as much as they can. Templeton now down there on the bottom side. Brewer out front, hanging on to what he can. 23 laps to go. He's really struggling to keep that thing on the bottom. There is tack down there as Templeton's showing that he can get something rolling. But here comes Watson. He's up there on the top side. He's going to try to get that thing dug in deep up there on the high side. Getting that run off the corner as they come on down through into corner number 1 and 2. Off the corner, here comes Watson up there. He's going to try to get it as they come there in the corner number 3 and 4. Brewer gets it back on the bottom side. Here comes Watson. It's going to be Watson possibly at the line as they come there 20 laps to go. Side by side here through the pack as they come there off the corner. You see the 4 there, or the 444 of Scott Riome. They're behind the 79 of Dean Reynolds. He's trying to work his way through the pack. Bachman down there on the inside, fighting with Templeton almost. Fighting for all kind of position down there. The 75 really digging it in down there on the bottom, trying to get it dug in deep. That is the 075 of Trevor Garou getting underneath the Bachman. Devin Bachman up the racetrack a little bit. Got going to Templeton up the racetrack as well. Brewer hanging in here in 2nd. Watson now out front. Comfortable once again. He might have learned something from that last race. Taking that 358 around as they come out through here. There you see Brewer running on down through here. There you see Lackey up to 3rd. Now Dean Reynolds is there in 4th. 16 laps to go here at Lyman Land for the big block modifieds with a couple of mix of 358s that I know of are out here like that. Regal Wrap machine of Chase Matsko. Unfortunately, it just doesn't have the power to keep up with these guys as they rolling on through the corner. Mike Brewer down there on the bottom side. You got Dean Reynolds there in the middle. Got Lackey up there on the top side. He's going to pull off into 2nd. Brewer falls back into 3rd. Now 4th as Dean Reynolds gets around him on the high side as they work there off of the corner. Down here, through into 3 and 4. Track looks very, very comfortable out there to most of these drivers. A.J. Watson just kind of hanging it out there. There's Lackey up there, gets that outside wall. Trying to run that line as well as he can up there. Bringing with him other drivers. Dean Reynolds there in 3rd. Scott Riome back there in 4th now. Mike Brewer fighting to try to stay in for it. But Brewer up there on the high side. I just don't know if that inside lane has anything left to give. Looks like the outside lane is where you want to be. Up there against that outside cushion. We got caution out. Chase Matsko in the pits. He might be done here tonight. Now that's interesting how that car kind of turned around on him. I don't exactly know how that even works. Let's go into cockpit view here. I see his wheels are turned to the right. And car just continues to go around. Kind of interesting. So under 10 laps to go, most likely we'll go single file here for the restart. As we will, there you see Fred pulling it down there on the pit road. And green flag is out. Here comes Lackey as he tries to get a jump on the leader. A little bit coming down here in the corner number one. Cannot quite get there, but he is doing what he can to get up there. Chad Lackey's up there against that top rail, as well as Watson now. Dean Reynolds also way up there. Yeah, that seems to be where you want to be. They're rolling kind of mid to top lane there through 3 and 4. They roll down through the back, or sorry, 1 and 2. They roll through the backstretch up there against that outside wall. Who turn 3 and 4 up there against that cushion. So they're running kind of mid to top in 1 and 2, and then top there in 3 and 4. Yeah, Matsko is called it done. He is out. Chad Lackey there in second. Dean Reynolds there third. Scott Rio in fourth. Mike Brewer there fifth. Brandon Templeton there sixth. Trevor Giroux there seventh. Ryland Banks up there in eighth. Sam Buckman there ninth. Jeff Barker rounding out your top 10. In that number 513. Chad Lackey still rolling in second. What a job tonight for William Watson as he's looking at making it a double tonight. As he's up there in front, up there across the top side of the racetrack here, bringing it to 4 to go. Now 3 to go as he comes across the line. Down in the corner number 1 and 2. Chad Lackey running second. Dean Reynolds third. Scott Riome there in fourth. Brandon Templeton there sixth. Trevor Giroux there in seventh. Ryland Banks there in eighth as they roll on down through off of the corner. Everybody looking good here so far. 2 laps to go as they work here off of turn number 2 down through turn 3 and 4. Up there gets that outside wall just to try to gain something there. Chad Lackey in second. Dean Reynolds there third. Mike Brewer there fourth. Scott Riome in fifth. Brandon Templeton there sixth. They keep on rolling here for final lap. Down in the corner number 1 goes William Watson. Chad Lackey there third. Dean Reynolds there in third. Mike Brewer fourth. Brandon Templeton there fifth. Scott Riome there in sixth. And they come across the line. Watson gets your win. And he'll sling it on down here across the start-finish line. And park it there for victory photos. As we have our feature results here. William Watson there in first. Chad Lackey second. Dean Reynolds third. Mike Brewer there fourth. Brandon Templeton there fifth. Scott Riome sixth. Trevor Giroux there seventh. Ryland Banks there in eighth. Sam Buckman ninth. Harold Klump in 10th. Jeff Barker 11th. Brian Moore there 12th. Randall Dixon there 13th. Billy Roberts 14th. Randy Shreve 15th. John Dubai 16th. Bob DeGood back there in 17th. We got back there in 18th is Chase Matsko and Michael Vitale in 19th. Oh, great job here by these drivers as we now get them locked in here for the pictures. Dean Reynolds and that number 79. Good Good evening, Dean. How's it going?
Sorry about that. I forgot I got third at him. I'm sitting over talking in the FTM Discord. I'm like, crap, I got to come over and talk to you.
Yeah, that'd be nice. So you got third here in the big blocks. How'd that track feel for you out there?
Actually, I thought the track for both races was really good tonight. I mean, you can make passes where you were comfortable. There was guys that were good down low. There was guys in the middle that were good. Up top was good. I've become a real big fan of Lima Land here lately. I think it's probably the best short track going. And I started 10th in the 358s and got up to 5th, and then I fell back to 6th here, but still got back up to 3rd. And but if you got a track that gives you the opportunity to do that, it's a lot of fun. But I tell you, I'm tired of looking at that Chad Lackey. I finished right behind him in the 358s and right behind him in the big block, but he did a great job. It was great racing with him. Congratulations to Bart, doing the sweep, and I'll tell you what, he's going to be tough in the Pro Late Models too. So he's got a chance to sweep this whole thing.
All right, yeah, he's looking really good out there in that number 91. I mean, you look good out there in the 79 tonight. You got sponsors, shout-outs, anybody you want to thank for getting third tonight?
Oh, I always got to thank, I got to thank the guys at FTM. They keep this old guy in the hunt, and they're very unselfish. They tell me their sets, they tell me what to do with the wheel and stuff like that, and they say, hey, Dean, try this. I think it's going to help you, and I got to thank those guys. Really proud team. We take pride in trying to race everybody clean. Sometimes we'll throw an elbow back because we got an elbow thrown at us first, but we'll do what we need to do if that happens. But we take pride in racing clean and getting top finishes, and we all enjoy running C2C. So it's a good thing. That's why we sponsor. We sponsor the Monday Night 358s. We sponsor the big blocks in the 358s here. So we really enjoy being part of the league as well. And thanks to you for sponsoring the Pro Late Models, so we can get on your broadcast for the late models as well. And thanks to you for doing the broadcast, Adam. It's always good to get back after the races are over to go watch the replay. And I got to thank everyone at Coast to Coast, Jeff Barker, Jack Hitt, Bill Calder, and all them for really taking the league, taking it over after the management change. And I think they're really putting it in a good place.
Yeah, I mean, it's been great watching everything here on Thursday night, and I'm glad to be a part of it.
Well, we're glad to have you be a part of it. And I think tonight you saw some really good racing, nonstop 358 feature. And we only had 3 yellows in that big block race on a short track. So you can't get anything better than that, Adam. So hopefully you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, you guys did a great job tonight. So hopefully you continue what you going and coming out in the big block, or in the Pro Late Models.
Yep, we're loading in right now, and we'll give it another shot. And hopefully, with a little luck, I'll get to talk to you again.
All righty, we'll see.
All right, Adam. Thanks so much, man.
Yep, thank you. Good luck. That was Dean Reynolds, our third place driver. Now we'll get with Chad Lackey. Good evening, Chad. How's it going?
Oh, not too bad. Yourself, Adam?
Oh, I'm doing pretty well, but you had that car pretty hooked up there on that top side tonight.
Yeah, definitely felt good up there. A couple of tips from people there who helped give me some ideas there on how to tighten the car up under fixed setups, so that definitely helped it out. I find these big blocks, if you don't do something to them, they're just really, really loose to drive, and I just like driving cars that are handled nice and tight.
Well, you did a great job getting that car where it needed to be to pull off that second place tonight. You got sponsors, shout-outs, anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, Billings Motorsports, Dean Reynolds, Super Dirt Car Series, Vertex Graphics, all the guys in Discord. Without them, takes everyone. Of course, yourself, Adam, for the broadcast, and everyone in C2C or Coast to Coast who makes this happen.
All righty, well, congrats for getting that second. And are we going to see you bringing out a Pro Late model?
See, I'm not that much of a fan of these late models. I find they're very difficult to drive, but who knows? We'll see.
All righty. Well, good luck either way. Congrats on second place here in the big blocks.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
All right. Watson, how's it going?
Good, about you?
I'm doing well. So far, you got 2 on tonight. Are you going to run the Pro Late Models and try to make it 3?
Yeah, I'm actually pretty good in the Pro Late Models. This is probably my best chance right here at the sweep. One night sweep, so.
You're going to try to
Try it
sweep
out.
it anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see if you can. I mean, you look great in both cars you drove here tonight, both the 358 and the big block, bringing that FTM number 23 out to victory lane in both of those. So we'll see what you got in the Pro Late Models. How's that track been feeling through the series, though?
I mean, it's feeling great. I mean, it was similar to the 358 race right there. 3 and 4 was a little more slick, but that could have also just been a little more horsepower. But I mean, felt great. It was real racy. Like you could put it anywhere.
You definitely look great out there, and can't wait to see what you got in the Pro Late Model. You got sponsors, shout-outs, anybody you want to thank for getting that victory here in the big blocks?
Yeah, again, FTM, teammates over there. I mean, we race hard together, and we wouldn't racing like that, then we wouldn't be as good as we are. Swan Speed Shops, Duplo Performance, GripX.com, Dina Dirt Car Series, Shaggy TV, U for Broadcasting, Vortex Graphics for the wraps, and Coast to Coast for the league.
All right, and congrats there again, and we'll see you in the Pro Late Models here in a few moments.
All right, sounds good.
All right, that was William Watson, our winner here in the big blocks. Also taking the win in the 358s tonight, so it'll be interesting to see what he does coming out in the Pro Late Models, if he can go and make it happen once again. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
It's time for another edition of RSN Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Gets on the champion, trying to be a bit of a hiatus, so let's get.
Tonight we'll be talking about it.
these dollars had come together to support us, and we realized no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive, so having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. Found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday, I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome here to Lima Land again. We're just taking a few laps around the track here, trying to see what these drivers are going to be dealing with here tonight. These drivers have been doing a great job so far tonight. I see Mike Brewer is the fastest out on the track right now. Trevor Garou there in second. There's William Watson third. I mean, he's got some work cut out for him if he wants to really try to get up there and battle it out to make a third attempt here at sweeping the track here tonight. Trevor Garou there in the 75. There you see Mike Brewer in the 390 or 39. FTM machine as he works there through the corner. Got some time to kill here, though, before we are allowed to start qualifying. Qualifying starts at 8:30 Eastern. So if you're a pro late model driver and you haven't got in here yet, get on in here. And see at 39, Mike Brewer up there on the top side. There's Trevor Garou. Up there on the top side as well, bringing that late model down through the backstretch. Just making sure that these cars feel where they need it to be. These drivers are doing everything in their power. Got about 9 drivers right now loaded in to go and compete here tonight. Drivers, and don't pay that ticker as it, or that time slot, as that is not true. They will advance the feature when ready. Or advance the session when ready, sorry. Out here through the corner, Mike Brewer sitting up there on the bottom side. Just trying to figure out which lane is going to work for him. There you see Dean Reynolds up there along the top side. He's drivers pulling out all the stops. Got about 9 drivers. Got Chad Lackey now out there. Ryland Banks out on track now in at 76. And head on down through here into corner number 1. William Watson there in third right now. 8 drivers doing everything they can. Trevor Guru out there in the pits. Ryan Banks there in 9th. Matt Barber now has joined. So we're up to 10. Still got a minute to get in here, drivers, if you're not here yet. Trying to see if I can find out what week we are in here at Coast to Coast. Looks like we are at week number 5 for Alignment Land. And next week is Knoxville National. Hopefully, if you're in with Coast to Coast, you sign up for that. As they head on down through here, getting ready here very soon as we get set for the Pro Late Model Division. 10 drivers coming out here to fight for it. Randy Shreves there 6, Chad Lackey there 8, Ryan Banks 9th fastest right now in the practice. We'll see how they stack up in qualified. All right, qualifying's underway. We see Chad Lackey coming out there in the 91. Seeing what he could do to line up here. All right, qualifying has ended. See where your driver stacks up here. I got Trevor Garou out there with the quick time of 12.060. So here, starting in your heat tonight, Ryland Banks will lead them off with Matt Barber there second. Mike Brewer third, Trevor Garou there fourth, William Watson fifth, Dean Reynolds sixth, Sam Buckman there seventh, Chad Lackey there in eighth, Randy Shreves there ninth, Scott Riome in 10th. So that is your starting grid here for heat number 1 in the Pro Late Models. Eight laps the distance. Off of turn number 4 or 2, they go down here into turn number 4. Back out onto the front stretch. Trevor Garou out there running away. Mike Brewer up there in second. Mike Barber there in third. William Watson there fourth. Sam Buckman there fifth. Ryland Banks there sixth. Dean Reynolds seventh. Scott Riome eighth. And they all battle it out here. Not a whole lot of action going on as everybody's there single file. But Dean Reynolds down there on, that's looking for Sam Buckman. He battles with Watson. These two have battled it out quite a bit tonight. Watson up there on the high side of the racetrack trying to find that groove. Getting that thing moved along up there in the fifth right now. Seeing if he can get it moved along up into fourth. We'll see. 2 laps to go. They come down here out of fourth, down across the stripe. Final lap here. Well, I'm a little bit turned around. Coming out of 4 now. Coming across the stripe, that FTM machine of Trevor Garou out there in front. There you see Mike Brewer. Down here on the inside, Mike Barber. Sam Buckman there in 5th. Ryland Banks there in 6th. There's more FTM machines back here towards the back. Now you see Randy Shreves up there on the top side. As the results for heat number 1 are coming in. See exactly how this plays out. And here we go. Oh, wrong thing. Here we go. Results for heat number 1. Trevor Garou there in the Full Throttle Motorsports is your winner. Mike Brewer in 2nd. Matt Barber there 3rd. William Watson 4th. Sam Buckman 5th. Ryland Banks there 6th. Dean Reynolds there 7th. Scott Riome there 8th. Chad Lackey in 9th. Randy Shreves in 10th. They come rolling there off the corner. You see everybody's out here for warm-ups. We'll stick it here just so you can watch a little bit of the action of the warm-ups here tonight. Down here in the corner number 2 and 3 and 4, rather, coming there off 4 down the front stretch. You see Scott Riome trying to find a little bit extra grip there up there towards the top side of the racetrack. Mike Brewer out there as well. There you see Trevor Garou. Everybody trying to find that little bit extra speed. And Brewer has found something out of 12.197 here. 2/200ths of a second faster. Or 2/10ths of a second faster, sorry. Than the guy behind him. I see Sam Buckman getting up there in the 2nd. Trevor Garou there. William Watson down there on the inside, still trying to get that car figured out. Got a minute 20 to figure it out. We see Bachman sliding it around there, off 4, down across the stripe, down here through turn 1 and 2, catching that a little bit of that inside tire. Now they work down here through off the corner. Down there across the bottom side, you see Mike Brewer in at number 39. Trevor Guru back there in the 75T. Working there off the corner. Matt Barber in that 4 spot. The 91, Chad Lackey, got second last race. Says he struggles in these Pro Late models a little bit, but he's doing okay as he's sitting about mid-pack right now. So I wouldn't say he's terrible. Mike Brewer back there in up there towards the top. He's running the quickest time right now. He's way up there against that outside wall. Cuts it back down across the racetrack and down to the infield, brings it to a stop. 30 seconds to go here in warm-up. As you see, the 75T brings it on down and slides it into a pit stop. Matt Barber, he's up here in the 16, right there behind the 4 of Scott Rion. Down here through off of corner number 1 and 2, Chad Lackey there in 5th. William Watson there 6th. Dean Reynolds there 7th. Scott Rion there 8th. Ryland Banks there 9th. Randy Shreves in 10th. Sam Bachman, as we said, up here on the top side. He's going to try to get something rolling here as we end warm-ups and get into our main event here tonight. Hopefully everybody's ready to rock and roll. Well, a great night of racing ahead of us. Back grid, looking like this. Trevor Guru starting on the pole. Mike Brewer there in 2nd. Matt Barber 3rd. William Watson 4th. Sam Bachman 5th. Ryland Banks there 6th. Dean Reynolds 7th. Scott Riom 8th. Chad Lackey 9th. Randy Shreves there in 10th. That is what your starting grid looks like here as they get set to rock off here in the corner number 1. Ten drivers here to battle it out in the Pro Late models this evening. Brought to you by here tonight, Regal Wraps and Designs coming out to sponsor the Pro Late model division. Regal Wraps and Designs, a paint shop company founded by Adam Fleeger and Zach Hartwick. They offer everything from schemes to helmet and suit designs, hero cards, and even logos for your accomplishments. They often support the community in many ways. Go check out their Facebook page at Regal Wraps and Designs and see if you're interested in having them freshen up your racing experience. Here we go to green down in the corner number 1, the 75 Trevor Guru out front. Down there trying to work his way around. They get a little dicey back here. 4 wide. We got Dean Reynolds there trying to battle his way up here. He's in 3rd. Getting up here. William Watson now up to 3rd. As calamity happens there in the corner. Up there across the stripe now down in the corner number 1 and 2. Matt Barber hitting near in 2nd. Trevor Guru up there in front. Watson hangs it out to dry up there on the top side. Dean Reynolds really trying to hang on there. Bachman really wants to get up there to battle it out as well. He's right at the tail of Reynolds. Down there on the inside is Chad Lackey. Chad Lackey logging up that right front. I'm sorry, the left front. Get that car to rotate like he wants it to. Down there across the bottom side. Down underneath Dean Reynolds. He's bringing it up. And it's tight racing here as they roll down through turns 3 and 4 right now. Back out onto the front stretch down across into turn number 1. Watson out there in 3rd. Barber in 2nd. Chad Lackey back here 5th, behind Dean Reynolds now. As you see the 007 of Bachman, he's going to try to get up there to the high side. He's going to try to get up there above Dean Reynolds and does so. He's going to try, oh man, is it tight racing. Contact there possibly between Bachman and Reynolds as they fight here off the corner. Up there to the top side goes Bachman. Bachman into the outside wall now as he fights it off the corner. And up into the outside wall, coming there off of 4. Down around here off of 2. Down that front stretch. Down the front stretch off of 4. He got up into the outside wall there off of 2. down here into corner number 3 and 4 once again. 21 laps to go for Trevor Garou. Out front, Bachman getting around Lackey if he can. Reynolds up there in the 4th. Watson there in 3rd. Barber in 2nd with Trevor Garou out front there in the 75T. 20 laps to go. Bachman back here in about 8th position. Randy Shreves, he's going to try to work that 56 machine up there toward the front. Mike Brewer back here stuck in the back of the pack, not getting the grip he needs for that 39 machine to get it up through the pack as he's up there on the top side. Really tried. Now he's got something as the 56 gets up into the outside wall. So Shreves has to bring it down there on the bottom side. He might open the door there for Brewer, but does not quite enough. As you see Reynolds there fighting there in 4th. Watson there in 3rd right now. Slowly closing in on 2nd place if he can. Down there on through the middle of the racetrack. Trying to catch up there to the 16 of Matt Barber. Keeping it smooth. That's the biggest thing here in the Pro Late Models. Very dirt track in that matter. Dirt track racing want to be as smooth and smooth as that with that wheel as possible. Some of these drivers, they learn that you want to keep the car as straight as possible too. You get it too sideways, you lose your momentum. So you got to find that perfect angle to get that car through the corner with the most momentum, and also let it continue on to the racetrack. And it's definitely an art form to get these race cars around the track. They come up here, you see Watson up there on the top side. Barber back down there on the inside now. He might be in trouble here in a few laps as Watson closes in on him, gets that run up there towards the high side. There you see it really closing in. Caution is out as Banks has issues there in the 76. The 3 wide looks like the 444 is there as well. They come through the corner. And as they work up into the outside wall, and he gets punted around. Bachman just nowhere to go and punts that 76 machine around after he gets up into that outside wall. Thank you all for tuning in to Coast to Coast Racing Network, brought to you by Fleeger Farm TV on the pole here tonight. Thursday Night Thunder here with the Coast to Coast Racing League. And see them getting double file back up. Lights are out. Driving on green flag next time by. The 76 getting off of pit road. Getting that car worked on here as they work down the backstretch. As that team did a great job getting that car back together and running again. Trevor Garou out there in front. With Matt Barber there in 2nd. Watson there as well as Watson down there on the bottom side. Getting a great run down there on the inside. Watson trying to take that lead. He's got something working for him down there on the bottom side of the racetrack. Watson kind of wanted that caution, I think, as they worked down here through the corner. Watson there battling hard with Trevor Garou as he's got the 16 and Matt Barber now working on him as he goes back up there to the top side where he's been comfortable most of the night in them big blocks trying to chase down that leader of Trevor Garou. Watson there in 2nd, 10 laps to go as they work here off of turn number 2 down that backstretch heading into corner number 3 and 4. Watson 2nd, Barber there in 3rd. Chad Lackey back here in 4th, Dean Reynolds in 5th. As Dean now gets up there to the high side as he tries to follow them on through. Watson really getting on the bumper there at the 75T. Just waiting for him to make just one simple little mistake as he's there. He's going to throw it in there. Can he get there? Not quite there. As they work there off the corner, he has to drop it back in line, try to work it off. As now he slides back up the racetrack. He's got to get it back in there. Could not quite get the slider line to hook up for him there in 2nd place for Watson. He was there, just could not get the pass to be done. Watson now back up there on the top side. There you see the 16 Barber coming across. Dean Reynolds there in 5th now as Chad Lackey gets that bottom to work. But Reynolds now coming back across. Now Watson still trying to get that momentum back up there to catch back up to Garou. Through that slide line, just could not get it to pull off. He was nice about it. I mean, if you wanted to throw a dirty slider, he could have gone up there and parked it right on the nose of Trevor Garou. But he thought second of that as he looks down there to the bottom again, trying to get a little bit of more momentum built up. As he does, he closes that gap a little bit. There through 1 and 2, up there through the top, off of 3 and 4, back across the stripe. Up down here in 1 and 2 once again. Watson up there across the top, down the back stretch, 3 laps to go. Watson, if you're wanting to try to make a sweep, you got to make something happen here soon. Yeah, he's up there against the top of the racetrack, coming there across the stripe, 2 laps to go. Watson and Guru as your front runners. Barber back here third, Dean Reynolds fourth. There you see the 91 of Chad Lackey. Coming off of 4 for the final time. Here, well, I'm sorry, coming to the white flag here. As Watson is there. Can he make something happen down here through turns 3 and 4? He's there, cannot get there though. As they come off the corner, Watson gave it all he had. Guru going to come out and get the win. Watson second, Matt Barber there in third, Dean Reynolds there fourth, Chad Lackey fifth. We'll take a look at our results here. I see Trevor Guru there out front, William Watson second, Matt Barber there third. Dean Reynolds finishes fourth, Chad Lackey fifth, Sam Bachman finishes tonight in sixth. In seventh, that's going to be Scott Riome, Randy Shreves there in eighth, Mike Brewer there in ninth, Ryland Banks there in 10th. I'll get with it, the winners here tonight. We got William Watson there as our second place. Not sure where Matt Barber is at the moment, but Watson, how's it going?
Good about you?
It's going well. Unfortunately, you just could not get that last little bit of grip you needed to get up there to battle for that lead.
Yeah, I had fun though. It was great.
Well, I mean, the car looked great out there. Kind of take it through. Did that car feel real good then up there in second place?
It felt better before. Whatever happened, somehow I made it between, I think it was Sam and Mike. They both pushed, and I made it between them and squeezed me. You can see my front end's a little damaged, but it felt fine afterwards, but it just wasn't like it was before.
Okay. I mean, you made a good run. I'm just unfortunate you couldn't quite pull off the sweep here tonight. Come up one position short. But, I mean, great run there nonetheless in that number 23. You had a great run here tonight. 2 out of 3 wins for the night isn't bad, but, I mean, you podied them all, so.
Yeah, I mean, can't complain. I had fun doing it. I was trying my best right there to catch Trevor, but he did a good race there. Held his line perfectly, so I thought I had him a couple times. He hit the wall, and 2, I was trying to do a cut down, but it just wasn't there. It wouldn't grip up. But it was fun.
Well, you got sponsor shout-outs. Anybody you want to thank for getting into second place tonight?
Teammates at FTM, Swansea Shops, Dupro Performance, Gripx.com, Dean at Dark Car Series, Vortex Graphics for Wraps, you for Broadcasting, Daggy TV, and Coast to Coast for giving us a race.
All righty, congrats there, and we'll see you next week. Or no, I guess we won't, as next week's the Knoxville Nationals, right?
Yeah, that's correct, yeah.
All right, well, I won't be around for that because they usually have somebody else broadcasting that Thursday, so we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Sounds good. If it wasn't 360s, I'd be in it, but I just cannot drive them.
All righty, well, good job tonight, and catch you in a couple weeks.
All right, buddy.
So that was William Watson, our second place finisher. Now we'll get with Matt Barber. Good evening, Matt. How's it going?
Oh, not bad. How are you?
I'm doing well. You did a great job getting that car up there into third. Just unfortunately, you didn't have anything for them 2 guys in front of you.
No, it's these cars are just super difficult to drive on a decent track, let alone a super short track, right? So trying to get them turned is half the battle. But the 2 guys at the front just were a class of their own, and fucking good on them for putting on a good race.
Well, I mean, how did the car feel to you other than you had trouble, like you said, getting it to rotate?
It wasn't bad. It felt pretty loose at times. Sometimes, like I said, just trying to get it to turn. If you clip the right rear quarter panel going in, it kind of writes off the first half of your corner. But it could have been worse. I mean, finished top 3, so it couldn't be that bad. Uh-oh.
All right. So, I mean, congrats. You got sponsors, shout-outs, anybody you want to thank here tonight?
Just mostly Testier Mechanical, all my Canadian buddies in the Discord. Vertex Graphics are putting on good, beautiful wrap for this car and most cars in this field. Big shout out to FTM and C2C, as well as Dean Reynolds from the Super Dirt Car Series, getting me and my buddies into this league. I'll greatly appreciate that. And that's about it.
Alrighty, congrats, and we'll see you in a couple weeks there, Matt.
For sure.
So that was Matt Barber, our third place finisher. Now we'll get with Trevor Guru. Trevor, how's it going?
Pretty good. How about you?
It's going fairly well. I mean, you look pretty comfortable out there in the lead, but I know Watson, he was trying to come for you.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Bart there, he had a really strong car at the end, and I thought, honestly, he had like probably 2 or 3 opportunities to throw a slider, and I don't know if he just maybe didn't feel comfortable doing it at that point in time. And I thought he was going to send it in at least once, and never did. But he was probably faster than me at the end there. And I mean, when that caution came out, I had like a 1.3 second lead on Matt there, and I definitely didn't want to see that caution. But yeah, Bart, he got a really good restart, and yeah, it was a battle from there on out. Like I said, he probably had the faster car there at the end. I was getting a little worried, but yeah, props to Bart and Matt there on some good runs.
Well, you had a great run yourself in that 75T tonight. So, got that victory here. You held Watson off from pulling the sweep, so that should feel pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it feels pretty good to win. Obviously, I would have loved to see my teammate sweep Thursday, but yeah, definitely feels really good to get another win here. This is a car and track combo that I feel like I'm pretty good at. It's here in Kokomo, where sometimes it gets up towards the wall there. I'm pretty good, but I say it all the time. I have more laps in these things than I do anything else. So it's every time I take the track in these cars, I'm always the expectations are high on myself, and to walk away with a win, it feels pretty good. And obviously, teammates finishing 2nd, 4th, and 6th and 7th. So it was a really good night for FTM, not just in these, but in the entire night. I mean, Bart went in both mods. It's pretty impressive. He's very fast.
Alrighty, well, congrats on getting that win tonight. You got sponsors, shout-outs, anybody you want to thank for getting that victory tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. I just got to thank obviously all the guys at FTM first and foremost. It's an honor racing with these guys. I finally found that the hump that I've been in my almost 10 years being on the sim. I kind of felt like I've come to a standstill skill-wise, and these guys are putting me over the top. Getting past that hump, I felt like I was in, and it's just a great group of guys to be surrounded by, and it's a pleasure. But Dean Reynolds with the Super Dirt Car Series, of course. Love Dino, appreciate him. Sam Maconda Sets, Expert Installation, Castleberry Flagstone, Vertex Graphics. New sponsor coming on board for the Spring Fling coming up, DJ Johnny, good friend of mine. I appreciate you, Johnny, for coming on board, helping us out, getting into that big race. So thank you. Thanks everyone at C2C. Thank you, Adam, for putting this broadcast on for us. Looking forward to going and watching it.
Alrighty, well, congrats there again on getting that victory, and we'll see you here in a couple of weeks. Next week's the Knoxville Nationals.
Yes, sir.
All right. Good luck, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Adam.
So that was Trevor Guru there in the top tonight and getting that win in the Pro Late Models. Hopefully everybody enjoyed the show and coming back here Flicker Farm TV and Coast to Coast Racing Network. Make sure you subscribe to either one of those channels, especially Coast to Coast Racing Network, if you want to catch more of your Coast to Coast Racing League action, as there's racing all over the place here on that. So, thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you around.
Thank you.